Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of And Now You Know with Betty and Julz. I'm Betty.
And I'm Julz.
And today we're going to be talking about, the joyous world of dating apps.
Yep. Let's talk about apps, baby. The do's and don'ts of dating apps.
Yes. So this is an interesting, we've both been on dating apps. I currently am the one on dating apps, of course, since Julz is married and that's where she found her Jay. But it's so interesting. There's so many things, so many experiences that we have had. And so we thought we'd talk about them and share them. But first, before we get into that, Julz was telling me about this post that she saw, and I loved it so much that she's going to share it.
I love it so much. So it's titled by this really handsome guy, and you can follow him. His name is LeBrun_Basson. And we're wondering if he's single. So,
and if you are,
so is she. Anyway, so it says, for the girls who need to hear this, God didn't create Adam for Eve. He created Eve for Adam. She was his missing rib. Girls, you might feel like you try to find the person God created for you, but without any success. That's because he didn't create someone for you. You were created for someone. So stop looking for him and let him find you when God wants him to find you. You may be struggling with your feelings for a person right now, but remember, you are someone's missing rib, so let him find you. That gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, I really like that. I think that's really cool. I'm gonna throw this over to the side. So first, I'm gonna say that I actually really love that. So my own philosophy, I know people might do it differently. My own philosophy on dating apps is that I usually don't initiate. I usually don't go in there starting conversations and liking people and doing all that stuff. I instead, I do respond. Sometimes I don't respond depending on what the comment was like. Kind of sometimes I feel like things are a little inappropriate. That happens.
I had some real inappropriate things happen.
Yeah, let's hear about this.
So this was 12 years ago, so it's changed a lot. But I thought that I went on one called Our Time, and it was the target market was for older. I was in my late 40s, and so I really wanted to avoid younger men because I just don't have the same level of energy that they have in certain activities, I'm certain of. And I wanted somebody that I was going to be equally yoked to. So I fill out all that. I did eHarmony. It was long. It was very laborious. And I mean, you talk about diving in to get all the nitty gritty. I mean, I did it. I filled that out. But I met Jay on Our Time. Now, I met a lot of guys on Our Time. And instead of them being ultra young, they were ultra old. And I had a 98-year-old wink at me and then sent me a message. And I was like, "Aw, you're so cute." But I said, you're not in my age window. And he said, "I know that, but do you think there'd be any way we could just talk dirty to each other on the phone?"
That's so hilarious.
No.
Yeah, no is the answer.
No, and then I don't even remember what you do now. But
well, there's a big X now. You just X them out.
Yeah, I met the very, very first guy who messaged me. He was so cute. He lived in Seattle.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
There are criteria. There are requirements and...
Well, and we talk about the list, and the list, I think the list is something that you should already have ready before you even jump into the dating pool. Some people don't want to go the route of dating apps, but if you are, that list should already be ready and done.
Yes.
Because
way before, because you need to know what
you're looking for. Now, let's just be clear. For me, we can talk about, and she knows this about me. I am not interested in long distance dating at all.
I
do not believe that you can get to know somebody long distance and it actually I just don't think that's the right approach. Now, I say that, and it's funny because I do know people that have met, they've met over long distance. They did it for over several years, and then they got married, and, it worked out. For me personally, that's not what I want. Now, this comes into, for me, my love language. If you don't know what your love language is, I think you should figure out what all that stuff is. Be prepared.
What's yours?
Okay, so mine is quality time and physical touch.
Yeah.
Now, quality time for me is I want to physically be with somebody.
Right.
I want to be able to look at their eyes and hold their hand and, go do fun activities together or whatever we're doing. But it's like if you are 3 hours away by car or 3 hours away by plane, I don't get what I want. I'm not able.
What are all the love languages? Remind
So
me.
there's
Gifting.
so there's physical touch, there's quality time, there's acts of service, words of affirmation, and then gifts.
Yeah.
I'm a great gifter to myself. I don't really, yes, it's nice when somebody's thoughtful and they give you a gift, but I don't need somebody to give me all these gifts. What I want is their time.
Yeah.
And what I want is their affection. And what I want is us to build something real. Yeah. And so for me, long distance doesn't work.
It didn't work for me either.
It's not going to work.
It's not.
But aside from knowing your love language, which is important, the other thing that I did come to find out from love languages, it actually works out really well if the other person has the same ones. And the reason why that's a big deal is because I didn't learn this until post-divorce, but love languages are the way that you want to be treated and loved and the way that you do that for somebody else. So the reason why for me it works out best if somebody is quality time and physical touch is because if they're words of affirmation or if they are, acts of service, and that's not, my top love language, it is still doable. You can learn to speak their language, but I just feel like it's not as seamless where I feel
you get
like
into the being equally yoked thing. And So I just think it's easier. I think you understand each other a little bit better. You kind of have the same wants and needs. So that's why I kind of tend to lean that way. But back to knowing kind of the list and the criteria before you even go out there. One of the things that I can scan through profiles and very, very quickly and easily I can X people out, not because I don't think they're cute or that they're not a nice person, but I'm very, very clear about what I want and who I'm looking for. And I also believe that he's out there looking for me, just like that little post said. Yeah.
And so for me, it's like, if you don't know and you're not clear, when people have on there, some people have on there that, they're just looking for, they're just browsing, or they're just out there. Some people say that they're separated. Some people say that, they're looking for something short term. Now, if you know that you want to get married or that you want a long-term committed relationship, then you're not going to waste time. That's how I see it, right? If you know, you're not gonna waste time with somebody who says that they don't know yet. A lot of people say, I don't know yet, just looking. Well, that's not very intentional to me, and it's okay if that's what they want, and it's okay if there's a group of single ladies that are just looking for hookups, or if they're just looking for whatever they're looking for. That is okay if it's short term or just hanging out or just browsing. But
well, and we were just talking a minute ago. We were in the car. We went and got some ice cream.
Yes, we shouldn't have, but we did.
We shouldn't have, but we did.
But we both worked out today.
We did. And we were talking in the car about how they post. And if they've got grungy pictures of themselves or they don't give a great bio about themselves. I mean, mine was I wanted a man who could have just as much fun cooking in our kitchen or going out on a romantic date. I wanted somebody who enjoyed lake time, outdoor activities. I wanted somebody who loved Jesus as much as I do. Those were just in my bio. And, I let them know that I've got 3 kids, the ages of my kids. I didn't put in there how many times I'd been divorced. I decided that was something that needed to be a little bit more of a getting to know each other discussion.
Well, and you didn't need to broadcast that to everybody. You can say that to whoever you're interested in.
That would have been an absolute no. But just though, I think some of the things to be aware of is, and even expecting, are that what I ran into were a lot of guys who posted pictures of themselves that were like 20 years old or 50 pounds lighter.
Yep. Yep. That's
went
that's a real thing, and it's not cool.
no,
Or mega heavy filters.
yeah, no, no. And I tell you, Jay even said that he went to meet some women for dates after they had just maybe talked on an app. And it was the same thing for men. I mean, one woman was sitting in the foyer of a restaurant and he walked right past her because she weighed like 50 pounds more and her hair was a different color. And just don't misrepresent yourself. And when Jay and I finally did talk, he asked me on the phone, "How old are your pictures?"
Yep. I actually put it's funny because I've heard that question many times of like, how old are your pictures? And so I just went ahead and put it in my profile. All my pictures are very recent, within the
smart.
last 30 or 60 days.
Yep. Yep. And I think it's smart to say how many kids you have and how old they are. I really do, because that was a problem for Jay. So Jay actually viewed me, but he did not wink. Back then, I don't know if it's still wink or
It's a heart. It's a like.
okay, a like. Well, it used to be a wink, and it's a big joke now because Jay did not wink. This doesn't really go along. I guess it kind of does. I mean, I looked at Jay and I thought he was really cute, and his height and color of his eyes and hair and his whole bio just matched up with me really. I thought nice, and we lived maybe 20-25 minutes away from each other, and so I was pretty bold, and he was the only one I did this with, but I sent him a message and I said, "Hey, looking for some constructive criticism. I really like your pictures. I like your bio. We are geographically desirable. So I'm just curious since you're not interested in me, what was it about my profile that made you not wink at me?" And he lied. It was a sweet lie, though. He told me that he thought I was too beautiful to be really attracted to him, that after I met him in person, I probably wouldn't like him. That wasn't the truth. I had my son, who was 9 years old at the time, 8 or 9. No, he was 9. Yeah. And Jay was not. His girls were grown and graduated from high school, and he just really didn't want to date someone who had younger kids at home. And we got past that. So
Yep. And here they are today. Let today be a PSA for whether you're a woman or you're a man and you are interested in online dating and you are either about to get on or you're on some dating apps. What from my experience, and she has been through this too, from my experience, from what I'm seeing, absolutely include the kids and the ages. And I will tell you, for me, my kids are now approaching in just the next, few months, my kids will be 14 and 17. And so for me, I'm not looking for anybody with single digits. And I'm very clear about that. And so when somebody does send me a message and, they compliment me and they want to get to know me more, my first question is, my first question is, how long were you married and how long have you been divorced?
Yeah.
If somebody is separated, that's a deal breaker for me because they haven't gone through their muck yet.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get pulled into it. And then number 2 is if they've not been divorced and living separately as an independent human that's self-sufficient for at least a year, and I actually want to say 2, at least that amount of time post-divorce, after the finalization of it, not just, we're still in the separation, but I live separately. No, because it's not done yet. Clean all that stuff up and start your new life. For me, that's how I feel about it. So between a year and 2 years after, then I don't even want to have a conversation because it for me, I know the feeling of, we talked about this before, I didn't do anything for about the first 16 months post-divorce. And then when I did start dating, I look back now and I think I probably needed more time than I even gave myself. So it was really more until 3 years later. Now I'm 5 years later, but 3 years later is when I actually really start started to feel like I'm ready now. I'm ready to like, be fully present and be able to like, move forward. So those things I think are really important. The kids' ages and how many you have. It's so funny. I called Julz the other day. Somebody sent me a message and he was cute.
It was two.
He was
two different guys.
Well, let me tell. This is the one.
What is going on?
We've had a couple different conversations about a couple different interactions, but specifically the one I'm talking about right now. He sent me a message and he gave me a nice compliment. And I have, like I said, very recent pictures. I have 8 or 9 pictures out there, and they're not blurry. By the way,
Right.
PSA.
Yeah.
Please don't use blurry pictures.
No.
Please don't use pictures that look like they're mugshots. And then also
Smile.
smile. At least have a couple with a smile. Please take your damn sunglasses off.
I know, and hats too, even.
I see so many pictures.
It changes.
Yes, but you're covering. I instantly feel like you're hiding, and I want nothing to do with you.
I agree.
Like, your eyes are the windows to your soul. If you won't even let me see your eyes in a dating app, oh, good God, there's no chance. No. So take your sunglasses off.
That swipe left, swipe left.
Absolutely. And then the other thing too, I don't know why guys do this, but you have guys posting pictures with groups of guys. And I'm thinking, which one is he? Which one is he? I don't even know which one I'm looking at. It is the craziest thing ever.
I hope it's that one.
It is crazy. I don't understand it. Don't post pictures. And I also don't like it when guys post pictures with them and their young children.
Yeah.
I actually think that that's kind of a safety thing, and I doubt that their mom would be thrilled that they're in a picture on a dating app.
With a little bitty... Jay posted a picture with his daughter, but... She was older. She was 18, and they were dancing, and you could tell that they were having so much fun. I know why he did it. The expression on his face was just so
and that's okay.
Cute.
I'm okay with their, grown children. I'm just talking about the little bitty ones. I just feel like I don't know that you should put your kids on here,
agree.
but I do think you should put their ages on there for sure.
Your bio.
But aside from that, we're hopping around right now.
We are.
Back to the story of I called Julz, and this guy sent me, a message, and it was very complimentary, and so we kind of chatted back and forth a little bit. He seemed like he was a little shy, and I'm not shy, so I was trying to get more out of him. I was trying to like, hey, tell me more, and so. I said, how many kids do you have? How long were you married? How many kids do you have? And so he said, well, don't let this scare you off. That's how he started the next sentence. Don't let this scare you off. I have 6 kids. I was married and then he goes, well, what do you expect? I was married for 20 years. Literally, that's what he said. Hello, I was married for almost 20 years and I have 2. Not to mention the fact that he had 6, but he had young ones that were like young. And so regardless, it wouldn't have worked for me at all. But I felt like, lead with that. Lead. I think that these are the reasons why the profile section, the little bio section exists. I don't think you have to put your whole story out there, but I do think you have to have enough information that might be a deal breaker for someone else, so that you can at least disclose a little bit about yourself. Like I do. I have that my kids are the ages that they are. I also have that I have a great co-parenting relationship with my ex, so there's no drama. Yep. And I put that on there really to repel the people that have drama with their ex. Because if there's drama with your ex, I don't want it. I don't need it because I don't have it. So why would I want to inherit that?
And I looked at online dating as... honestly, it was like a job. So you need to block some time to be able to look at the ones who have viewed you, the likes you've gotten, decide if you want to respond, and then you do the whole communication through the app. Mm-hmm. Then you decide if you want to talk. And there were, I went out on maybe 3 dates after the communication, and then I always had an interview date, and it was always during lunch. There was no alcohol involved, and it was in my territory, on my turf. And if they weren't willing to do that, then I had my answer.
Right.
And I was like, that's okay. And I didn't say, okay, well, you're out. It's not hard for it to fizzle. You just don't spend any time on it. You don't have any roots going on. But this one guy, I really thought he was so cute. His age was perfect. We met, had our interview date, but we didn't talk about. He said he had kids. I said I had kids, boys. He had a combination of boys.
I
And
remember
girls.
this one.
Oh my gosh, we went out on a date. He had 12 kids.
And that was the end of him.
That was the end of him because the first thing I thought of was Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I cook, my sister and I cook all the food for Thanksgiving, and we already cook a lot of food.
That was the first thing on your mind?
That was the first
That would have not
thing-
been the first thing on mine.
The first thing I thought about was, oh my God, we don't have enough room for all these people at Thanksgiving. It was so stupid. Anyway, I told him, oh my God, I can't. Congratulations on that, by the way. But I think you should go back and help your poor ex-wife.
I know.
So,
yeah.
I don't know.
No way. There's no way. Well, so let me tell you what I have adopted that Julz has, taught me about is the interview coffee date. And here's something that literally just happened to me the other day. We were just talking about it. So I do implement the coffee date. I think that it's a great time to have the conversations to get some stuff out of the way. And I actually even think a phone call before that can also be helpful.
Absolutely.
So I just had a coffee date scheduled with somebody. This was this past weekend. Had a coffee date scheduled with somebody, and he said, "Hey, can we do a phone call? Can we chat for a little bit before the call, before we meet in person?" And I said, "Sure, that'd be great." So we ended up having about an hour and a half long conversation, and he seemed like a very, very nice guy. But I can tell you right now, in that conversation, I very quickly discovered all the things that I knew would not work for me, and so then I canceled the coffee date because there was no reason to then have to have the coffee date when I've already realized, like, it's just not going to work.
No.
It's not going to work. But I'll tell you, he was a really nice guy. We ended up talking about business. He's very savvy, very entrepreneurial. And so he said, "Hey, keep my number. And if you ever need help with business," and, I told him about some stuff that I'm working on. And so it turned out to be a really nice, pleasant conversation, really great exchange. And you never know, you can actually meet some people along the way that might not be your match, but you never know if it turns into, maybe a business opportunity,
Right.
maybe an introduction to somebody else. So I always still think, take a moment to talk to them and, keep things on a friendly level, but be very clear. And if you know what your list is, and if you know what your deal
It's
breakers
easy.
are, because those are the questions I ask first. I know what my deal breakers are. I know specifically what I'm looking for, but you really have to know these things and be clear so that you can either say yes to the next thing or say thank you so much, but it's not me.
Right.
Let's move on.
And if you do
the
go,
next.
if you do go on the interview date, if you make it through the initial conversation and you set up the coffee or that interview date, and you find that you don't have the chemistry. I had a copy and paste text, and I've given it to Betty, and I've shared it actually with quite a few people, and they appreciate it so much because there's no need. We're all grown up. We don't need to ghost and, I didn't like him. It just was very simply stated. I loved meeting you today. I really appreciate your time. Unfortunately, I didn't feel the chemistry that I'm looking for. I hope you find what you're looking for. Have a great day. Something like that.
Now let's back up for 1 second because her text is actually really great. I've used it several times. Her text is really great, really respectful. And let's back up. This is after you have been on the interview date before you've done the date.
Yeah.
But let's back up a little bit more to conversations, to the conversations in the app, because every platform, regardless of the one you're on, every platform has the kind of like the DMing system, but it's like in the app, right? Okay, so I came across something that I thought was really interesting, and I would love to hear feedback on this one. So I was talking to somebody, and the exchange was going really well on the app, and he suggested that whoa, sorry about that. And he suggested that we continue the conversation, over the phone or offline, off of the app. And so I said, sure, great. I would love to, because actually we were having great chemistry, and I felt like he had a great personality, and it was really, really great.
This is a good one, y'all.
This is, I want to hear how other people feel about this, because here we are. I'm a single girl. You're a married woman, but I'm a single woman. And
we're going to talk about safety.
yes,
here in a
safety.
minute.
So, there is still a level of you're throwing yourself out there. You have no idea who these people
Yeah,
are.
and he may be real nice. So was Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
weird.
Okay, and I'll
He
say
wasn't that. Well, we
in
don't know.
all seriousness, and no, but you're right though. You're right.
I take it
They
to-
actually they say that he was very charming, so that's true.
I go
That's true.
dark.
No,
in a hurry.
that's true. She does go dark, but still, but this is good. You have to have people around you that you can't just be head in the clouds, rainbows and butterflies. So anyway, I am a little bit of a cautious person because I have her by my side telling me about all this dark stuff that can happen. So I have a Google number for business. I have a
Right.
Google number, and so I usually. My personal number, it's tied to a lot, and I kind of want to maintain maybe a little bit of anonymity. Is that the right word? Just a little bit.
Protection,
Protection,
for a minute,
right?
Until you know
for a minute.
who you're
and
dealing with.
So I have a Google number, and so I had given him my Google number.
It's a real number.
It's a real number attached to a real phone, and I literally didn't think anything of it. I was like interested in him, and I literally thought to myself, yes, I agree, let's take the next step, right? Get off the app and have a phone call and have an exchange. Well, so then he sent me a text, and actually we were working that day, and so I didn't see the text for several hours later. Well, I think it was the delay in my response that maybe had him thinking that, did she give me a fake number? Well, so I finally did respond, and I said, hey. And then he responded back to me and said...
He was angry.
He was angry and said, is this a Google number? Now, of course, I'm reading this on a text. So I am thinking in my head that this is the tone that he must have had. But,
Right.
I don't know. I don't know because...
That's the danger.
That's
of
the danger of
texting
texting.
because they're flat black words, and
Right.
you can't hear the
Right.
voice behind
Right.
it.
So he asked me if it was a Google number, and then I said yes, because I'm not a liar. So
Right.
I'm like, yes, it is.
Yeah.
It totally is. And I literally said, I'm a single girl, and I do have some kind of safety precautions,
Right.
in place. And he got upset.
Really upset, and he really thinks very highly of himself.
He got upset, and so
It was crazy.
It
Yeah,
was-
I'm glad it happened. I mean, who
well,
wants to waste time with
honestly,
that nonsense?
and this is what I'm grateful for. If that is something that's going to make you flip that fast, I'm glad we didn't meet.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't give you my number. I'm glad, I'm glad we didn't get any further down the line than we did
Absolutely.
because, what he then accused me of was, basically being deceitful and disguising progress.
She is the last person in the world that's deceitful.
Oh my God, I'm so not. I'm like, I'm not. I'm definitely not. So the fact that he made it about disguising progress with a fake number, and my response to that was, it's a real number on a real phone that comes directly to me.
It's on your phone, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like getting off the app to continue the conversation where numbers are exchanged, that is progress.
I
That is
agree.
a step in the right direction. So I thought,
It's like, what do you want to do? Get married?
right. Well, I have no idea, but it just felt like, so we talked about it, and then I thought, I'm curious to know whether you're a woman out there or whether you're a guy out there in the dating world. I'm curious, if you're a woman, do you give a Google number, or if you're a guy, would you mind getting a Google number? I'm just curious because I thought that was really interesting. The reaction was actually pretty startling to me. I didn't expect it because I wasn't trying to pull a fast one on anyone.
Well, and Jay, again, 12 years ago, we were, communicating through the app, and he said, how about we talk on this weekend? My mom was in town, and I said, I will not be able to talk to you until Sunday night. It's probably going to be a little bit later. Got to take her to the airport and get some things done. And he gave me his number, and he said, you can call me. You can block your number when you call me on Sunday night if you want to, and let's talk. I think that shows a high level of respect. And I did block my number when I called him, and I'd already told him it was going to be probably around 9 because I had to get that little one to bed, which was, we were teetering. He didn't know. So I just thought it was really nice that Jay gave me his number, and he said, block yours. I'll know it's you. I told him I'm going to call about 9, and we ended up talking for about an hour and a half. But a guy needs to respect a woman because it's scary. And I know there's scary women out there too, but more than likely, if there's something that's going to go sideways, it's going to be towards the female.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think, I'm going to say this, but of course there are some occasions.
There are.
But I don't ever think really that a man needs to be fearful when he goes on a date. He doesn't. He doesn't.
He's going to win most of the
exactly.
time.
It's funny because I actually said this. I told my ex about this situation, and
what'd he
my
say?
ex is a 6'5" linebacker type.
He's massive.
Massive. So he has zero concern when he goes to meet someone on a date. Meanwhile, I'm 5'4", tiny, and I need to be concerned. And Dallas, we live in Dallas. Dallas it's huge. It's huge, and we have millions and millions and millions of people here. And so you could. There's a lot that can happen in a big city.
I want to dive into that a little bit. So on another gal that I follow on Instagram, she's a criminologist, and she gives all these safety tips. And the one I think I did save it, but it's on my camera. And she's talking about the number one most important text to send if you're getting ready to go out on a date with someone you've never met before. And we already do this.
Yeah.
So you want to send a picture of the guy.
Mm-hmm.
You want to send his phone number. You want to send where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
With her and me, we both have each other's locations just because. I mean, I've got all my kids. I've got my sisters. I've got another friend of mine's location. And we just want to offer protection to each other. So I always know where she's going. And if possible, if you live close to a friend and he's coming to pick you up, I wouldn't advise that on the first date, letting him come to your house.
Definitely not. I mean, I wouldn't.
Have somebody drive by and snap a picture of his license plate. I know this sounds ridiculous, and then she suggested having a code word. So you could text it Betty could text me a code word, and she said, I don't care if it's pickle. Pick the word between you two, and that is an automatic SOS. I don't feel safe. Come get me. Call the police. Whatever y'all agree upon. And that means that she's going to stay in the location she's at right there, not going to move until somebody comes there as her backup. Mm-hmm. And I carry an extra big purse. Well, I don't anymore because I don't date. But as a real estate agent, when I do open houses, I have multiple cans of wasp spray.
She does.
And I learned this in my self-defense. It was some therapy I was going through. And I strategically place my wasp spray upstairs in the bathroom, in closets, in cupboards downstairs, in case I get trapped in a closet or something by someone who's there up to no good. Wasp spray shoots up to 30 feet. My husband likes me to carry it instead of a gun because he's like, if they get a hold of that gun, they're going to kill you.
Yeah.
You can't kill somebody with wasp spray unless
you can stop them.
You can stop them, spray it right in their face, 30 feet. And I actually had to use it in a situation. I didn't have to spray it on them, but I used it to say.
But she had to pull it out and say, I'm not afraid to use this.
I'm going to spray you in the face with this if you don't leave. Because I got a gut. And always listen to your gut, guys. Always. If you get that feeling, that is the Holy Spirit telling you danger, get out.
Yep.
Don't hesitate.
Yep. I totally agree. I agree with that. And you have to put these safety, things in place. Now, I will tell you what she was talking about, the whole code word and all of that. So I have another friend, and she was using it with her daughter. Mm-hmm. And, when her daughter was a teenager and started going out on her own, and, now she's in her 30s. But the whole point is that they had this whole kind of system together where they had a code word, and if she ever, for any reason, if something felt off, if she felt like she was in trouble, all she had to do is text that one word,
yep.
and that is like, fire the alarms, it's time to go.
That's what this gal was talking about.
Because you don't have time to tell a whole story.
No,
that you're in trouble.
The word,
you just
pickle,
need the word.
Whatever your word is. We've got a word. I'm not going to say what
we
our
have
word
a word.
is. Yeah. And it can be if I'm doing an open house, I can text her and she's going to know exactly where I'm at and she's going to get help on its way.
Right.
Now, a lot of times Jay goes with me or one of my kids goes with me. I'm the mother of 3 boys and they are big. Like my youngest went to church with us over Mother's Day weekend, and somebody laughed and said, "Wow, you have little bitty babies, don't you?" Because he's like 6'3".
They all tower her.
They tower me. They're all over 6 feet tall. I look like I've got a football team around me when there's a picture of us together, and I feel very protected because if anybody tried to hurt me, oh my God, those boys would lose their minds.
Yeah.
So a lot of times they go with me to my open houses, and I can always get them there by offering food.
Right. So even if you're not dating, anything that you hear today, even if you're not dating, can be applied to some part of your life. You might have a friend that's dating. You might have a sister that's dating. You might have, a daughter that you want to set up a code word and set up the location share with her, just to make sure that she's good. So there's a lot of different things that you can apply to different areas. But, it's so funny. We tell these stories all the time, especially with me actively on dating apps right now. For the longest time I said I am never getting on dating apps. And now I find myself on a couple of them.
Well, and she'll get on them and then she's like, I'm
done.
I'm taking a break. And she stays away from them for a few months. And then she's like, I think I'm going to dip my toe in the pool again.
Yes. Well, and this last time I was off for a year. It was a whole year. I was not on it at all.
But
and I wasn't dating or anything.
You've been living your best life.
Yeah, I have been. I've been super busy traveling. I'm just doing
We've been busy.
Awesome things.
Getting things set up for this. And we both are doing some other things outside of this. We both do real estate. Mm-hmm. And then I'm working on something and she's working on something. Which we'll tell y'all about later.
More info coming soon.
We're so excited.
We are super excited.
It's just fun. And this is the good part about why we're doing this is you can design your life.
Yes, that is literally everything that I'm working towards for the next, because I always say that I'm going to live until I'm 107.
Me too.
And so for the next, 62 or 60, I can't remember the number that I have, 62 or 63 years left that I have of my life, I want to live it on my terms. I want to do the things, I've done the corporate thing, I've done the whatever, I'm done with all that.
I am too.
The thing that I really I have learned so much about myself and the things that I see unfolding is that, you only have one life and you cannot spend cannot waste your precious time doing things that don't make you happy.
Right.
And you're responsible for your happiness. So instead of being in a miserable job that you can't stand, that doesn't pay you well anyway, instead of doing all that, what makes you happy? What is something that lights you up that you see yourself spending a bunch of time doing? Like literally, we live in a world where, well, I guess I should say we live in a country where we have amazing opportunities to start businesses. You can make money doing anything.
You really can.
And so why not figure out what you can, whether you start a side gig while you have a full-time job, do that. Plenty of people do that. But again, if you're not changing it, you're choosing it. So you have to figure out, how do you want to spend your time? You don't have 9 lives. You don't. We only have one life, and I'm 46 years in, and I want to make sure that the next chapter, I want to be spending it doing the things that make me super happy. I love, doing fun things with friends, with people that I love, with my sister. I love to travel with my kids. Like there's so many things. And for me, I was feeling like the whole corporate gig is very restricting. It's very restricting. I kind of felt like I was being stuffed in a box, and I don't do well with that.
I don't either. Yeah. And I really applaud you who have corporate gigs, and
totally.
We need you.
That's your choice.
We need you to do that. I, on the other hand, am more of like a butterfly flying all over the place, and I just don't like very long. I don't land someplace for very long, because I like the change of things, and I just felt like I was serving a prison sentence from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m, and I don't know. I'm a happy soul, and it just felt like I was marinating in a bunch of grumpy people, because I guess they're not happy doing it either.
Well, and that's what's funny, we have had corporate jobs. I have had. I know.
Together.
I'll speak for me. We've had corporate jobs together, and then also separately. That where I had good experiences.
Mm-hmm.
But as I get older, and I want things, I see things differently for my life, and I want different experiences. And I really, the last job that we had together. We knew it wasn't it. It just wasn't it, and so we just went
I didn't want to go anyway, but I went because she did, and we're kind of a package deal. So,
I thought it was going to be a great ride.
We really did, and you know what? It served a purpose.
It really did. It
absolutely
really did. And here we are. I was there for, it was a few weeks shy of a year, but it actually showed me. It was great for me to go do that because it showed me very, very clearly what I don't want in my future. And so, anyway, so we went from talking about dating apps to danger, safety to corporate jobs to, whatever. But let's circle back to the whole
and I do want to
dating app
say
thing.
one more thing about the safety thing because I am crazy, freakishly over the top about safety. Always be aware of your surroundings. They say that the most individuals who are chosen as victims are the ones who are talking on their phones, walking to their car from a store, or you're texting, or
not paying attention.
Get your keys out before you leave the store. If you suspect anyone, go back in the store. Mm-hmm. If you're on a date and you suspect dude is not good, do not leave
with him.
Don't leave with him, but also ask somebody that works at the restaurant to walk you to your car because he could be sitting out there hiding. I don't know. I'm really weird. I've had some strange things happen in my life. I've had some strange things happen to friends, and I lock my husband out of the house all the time because he'll be working out in the yard and I notice one of the doors is unlocked and I lock it. But I just believe in safety. So safety on dates, when you're leaving a grocery store, just be aware of your surroundings on dates, in all around you, because there are lots of predators in this world.
It's true. And unfortunately, we do have to think about it and prepare ourselves.
You just have to be your own advocate and protector.
Yep.
So.
Now, after that PSA from Julz, I'm going to go back to talk about apps real quick because I actually...
Oh, yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're going to go back to talk about that really quick because I personally believe that if you are going to put yourself out there on a dating app, what my request is, and again, PSA is suggestion. I feel like when I see somebody's profile and it has nothing written about them and there's these crappy blurry pictures of them where you don't even have a good look at them, that right there tells me that's an instant X. Yeah. But the issue that I have with it is, if you are serious and you want to find your person, a little effort would be nice, because what the way that I think of it is, if you didn't put any effort at all onto your profile, that's the kind of effort I'm thinking that's the kind of effort that you're going to put forth if we're actually in a relationship. I mean, if you're trying to find someone, and so you're apparently not taking it that serious. And so if you are serious and you have an intention for, a long-term relationship that, goes into marriage or whatever, if you're looking for a hookup and you don't care about what I'm saying, then whatever, do whatever you want.
I still don't want to go out with a guy who's not put any effort into what he looks like.
Yeah, but if he's looking for a hookup anyway, you don't want him. You don't.
No.
So whatever.
No.
So, but if you are serious, and I'm talking about people like me who I'm genuinely interested. I'm interested in really learning about people. I already am a super curious person. I ask a lot of questions. Yeah. I want to know about you. I want to know if there's any kind of fit or compatibility or anything. And when it's blank, I'm not going to send you a DM. I'm not going to approach you and say, "Hey, tell me more." No, I will respond if you've initiated. If you don't have anything on your profile, if I want to know more, I will respond and ask for more. But those are the profiles that I just X out and keep going, because it seems like you're not trying at all. You're not even serious.
No, and I honestly, when I launched into my search for Jay, it was, I treated it with the respect that finding the love of my life deserves. And that was presenting myself well, and that was being very aware and conscientious of who I was going to be spending my time with. It was like a job. I had certain hours that I would look through the app to see who had viewed me, winked at me, sent me a message, whatever, and then went through those with a fine-tooth comb. And I weeded out a lot and talked to a lot and went on interview dates with a handful and less real dates, and then I found Jay. And after the interview date, we pretty much knew that we wanted to spend more time with each other to see if we wanted to spend more time with each other. And he was dating a gal, and I had kind of been going out with a guy. Nothing exclusive. He was more exclusive than I was. But about 2 weeks after we first spoke on the phone, we both agreed to go out with them on a Friday night. And I told my guy, and he told his gal, we found somebody that we want to, see what's going to happen. So you can do it, but you have to treat it with the importance that it deserves.
And I will tell you, her story included, I have seen a lot of friends and family members find their person on a dating app.
Yep.
And so it is possible.
It's dating on steroids. There's a lot to go through, but if you can follow the system and don't let any alcohol or anything be involved in the first time that you meet them. And I let the guys know, I was like, listen, this is going to be lunch. We don't have to eat lunch. We can just have a glass of tea or water or whatever you want. But it's a chance for me to ask you questions and you to ask me questions and see if we want to go on a date.
Yep.
This is not a date. This is an interview. It's really like and that's how I treated it. It was just, I was done with playing games, and I needed to know that whoever I spent time with was going to show up. And
at that interview, don't omit anything.
Do not omit.
Because here's the thing.
They're going to find out.
They're going to find out. And let me tell you, lies, omissions, those things that happen early on, that will completely just, I'm out. So I actually think it's a better approach, like you did, like you both did, where you come to the table and, I'm not saying you have to spill your guts about everything that's happened in your life, but the key components of how the other person, something that might affect their life.
Right.
And specifically, there are things that you have to disclose to the other person. You cannot just pretend like, I'll just sweep all of this under the rug and pretend like none of that happened. That is a recipe that's a disaster waiting to happen.
And what that really is a sign of is that you're not ready to be dating yet. If you're not ready to own your truth, because you can't change it. You might wish you could change it, but you can't. You can't undo the past. And so you own it, and you do the work to be recovered from whatever your part of it was, and show up whole and responsible and accountable and ready to take on what a relationship deserves. And it's, what I've found out with Jay is that it's not hard. I used to think that relationships with men were just always hard, but it's not hard. It's really interesting when you meet somebody that you are equally yoked with, and you take that time. It's not hard.
Yep.
It's
I'm still on the search, on the path, doing the thing. She has had her story that clearly has gone very, very well.
But it was really, really bad before this one.
But what we want you to know is that we want to share with you the things that can happen on this journey to make it better or easier, or some tips along the way, things that these are things that I think we should share and talk more about.
I agree.
That can help somebody else out that might, be starting their journey. Or, it's funny, somebody posted on the dating app, somebody said, I'm embarrassed to ask the question that I don't even know how this works, and I don't know who to ask. Like, literally somebody posted that. But it's true though, like, for somebody like us, we were married. I was married to somebody for almost 20 years, and so was she prior to. And so when you're with somebody for that long, you don't know how to date either. You're stepping into this unknown, kind of world, and it's like, let's talk about it. Let's share it. Share some feedback. Share some comments. What do you want to know about? We'll share some of our crazy stories. I mean, there's what we shared today is like the tip of the iceberg. There's so much stuff. But anyway,
I think our time's up.
That
was fun.
Yes, that was fun. We've been talking about. We wanted to talk about this fun world of dating, but anyway. So again, comments, feedback, questions. Please put those in the description in the comment section below. And if you want to send us an email directly, our email address is hello@bettyandjulz.com. BETTE
JULZ.
And we so appreciate you spending a part of your day with us. Thank you for your love and support. And we will see you on the next one.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.